This is your daily market review for Tuesday, February 11th, 2025. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka The Trading Agent. This is your daily market review for Tuesday, Taco Tuesday, February 11th, 2025. Hopefully you're having a great day. A lot of folks feel like they had to do a lot today to hold folks in the Discord room. Again, it's the day before the CPI, PPI data coming up the next 2 days. It really is going to be an interesting, 2 days, because the data, in my opinion, should come in weaker in some areas and higher in some, because we've seen food prices, especially eggs, but we also see the commodity prices and other things drop. So near term, your guess is as good as mine. But as we said, be careful. Define your levels and your trades. What do you think is best? And yeah, just be careful. Be very careful here, okay? Because we know what's going to happen ultimately is that there will be a follow through or a trap that follows. That's how it works, right? The market sets up to knock out bulls, bears all the time, and then move in a direction, and then that's when the trend. And if the trend is up, well, again, your shorts need to be covered. If the trend is down, then you need to make sure your bullish positions are managed correctly. All right, so we know what the expectations are. We've talked about data, been fudging for a while. I wouldn't overthink it. Know your stocks, know what you're going to do. And again, I apologize for chewing on some ice. Because we basically are through earnings. And if you go look at the Stock Traders Almanac, and it's not really in the Almanac, it's more in my notes, but there's usually a bigger pullback mid-February. Just keep that in mind. It's kind of a post-earnings hangover. We got the little bit of bounces for earnings, but in my opinion, again, the earnings were crap. Again, a lot of guiding down, a lot of crap. I mean, again, if you look at it, and when I say crap, just like look at what's been happening, right? I mean, if they're going to cut spending, they're going to try to reduce the government budget deficits. They're trying to open up what's going on to the real world. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some pain near term, right? Think about what happened when Argentina and some of these other countries really tried to cut spending and reduce the size of government. It's painful at first. So, yeah, if you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room. Links description below. Again, don't want to get into like the more politics side, but just, again, my opinion, what's going to happen. We've seen it in housing, we've seen it in commercial real estate, we see it banking issues, we see it everywhere. It's just a matter of, will the market react or will it not? That's where you have to, again, trade probabilities and never believe in certainty. All right, if you want to chat, use the comment link in the description below. Love to help you out, looking to help with trading, with investing. If you want to buy or sell real estate, holler at your boy. That's what I'm here to do and help. Again, follow, like, the subscribe button on the Twitter, posting trades, ideas, thoughts. Again, same thing on the YouTube channel. I appreciate the love, support, generous donations. If you'd like to drop a thanks button, just even if you appreciate the video for what it is, you want to hit the thanks button, you can do it easily there. Or if you want to donate, there's links in the description below. Also, check out the website. Tons of fun stuff. Interactive brokers, blogs, recommended reading, videos, education, real estate, yada, yada, yada. Again, here to help provide a resource for you. At this point, it is all free, giving it away, but in time, we'll probably be monetizing this probably later this year. But again, as I've always said, the goal in the Discord room, especially the Discord room, is to have 20 great traders that have 20 sets of eyeballs helping each other out, being able to be, again, not like following each other, but being able to think critically. So at least think critically and know what and how to think about the markets, if that makes sense. So let's just get into it. We know the CME next week, the next meeting is in March. I like to hit the refresh on this. There's no cuts expected. Again, there's only one cut expected the rest of the year. And again, it will only go up if what? Market falls, expect rotation into bonds, economic weakness. That's the way you get there, okay? Bitcoin, as we talked about, to me it's not the big cheese anymore. It's gold, y'all. And again, gold is at some upside targets. We'll talk about that soon. But again, I personally believe Bitcoin is due to just chop around. You get on these big moves, you have to digest. It happens. It's a repeating pattern. You can argue with me all you want. This is what happens. Oil, as we talked about being oversold, goes from 81 down to 70 pretty damn quick. I'd be watching the mid 75s. Natural gas, talked about this one. I mean, we like natural gas long term. Really hoping, praying. Again, that's usually the shittiest strategy out there in trading. Hoping and praying for lower prices. So, all right. Dollar chopping around, again, waiting for CPI. Again, if you took off this XDiv gap, we would be still making higher highs and higher lows. Well, I guess not technically with the one on the 50-day, but yeah, we're still be chopping up against the high of the range. Keep an eye, especially if you check out the Dixie. VIX, we've talked about bottoming first, 15 level, VIX bottoming first, right? Holding. Okay, we'll see what happens here. TLT talked about this last week, said, what are the odds that we follow through without having the CPI or PPI data? It's like, probably not going to happen. Hence why roll up your stops, watch the 20-day. It feels like a little bit of a head and shoulders bottom. Again, I look at today's action right here. Right back to the fucking breakout. You cannot make this stuff up. This is how the market works, y'all. I'm telling you. Everyone gets excited, and then they pull it back, and then it waits for whatever news is necessary. Then it does what it's going to do. So many people got snookered. All right, we'll see what happens. Again, I think if you start breaking out, again, sorry. I mean, I should talk about TLT more. I like it if it goes, right? If we get back over, right, we need to get over the 90 level, continue up, then you should be good. Should be good to go. Should be good to go. So just keep an eye on it. Again, this is a gap fill. In any weakness, if you decide you want to buy, just tighten up your stops. It's buy. Talked about today was going to be a nothing day. You're welcome. Open, low, closed. I guess technically high, but just nothing much day. Chopping around 8, 10-day, 20-day. Same thing. What to expect now? Again, you really need to get over the 609, 610 area to break out and continue higher. If not, if we gap down tomorrow, I would be very much on red alert that this is a chop top, more of like a chop top, double top, chop top, double top. Keep an eye on it, okay? Q. That's 17 Qs. Same kind of thing, lower highs. It's more of a, it's actually lagging. Lower highs, I'd be watching the 530s, nothing inside day. Again, all these up days are on just absolutely dog shit volume. Keep that in mind. IWM, again, a lot of the stuff is going to start moving tomorrow. This one's been tight, right? All these moving averages. Looks like it's going to break out. Looks like it's going to fail. Now we're chopping in the blue zone. That's why these blue zones matter. Again, they're support resistance. Okay? Keep an eye on this, right? IWM is usually leading, and if it's not leading, got to be careful. DIA. There's another one, right? Chopping around. Not as much as that. I don't know. Keep an eye on it. Gold. We talked about this. The monthly upside target. Here, I'll show you. Again, I'm not really into popping in all these different monthly charts, but here you go. We talked about the cup and handle. Talked the upside 2 times range. Talked about at some point you get to 270. You're about there. Now near term. Again, we probably pop there. Do we follow through? That would be the big kahuna cheese. This is what sucks. Again, if you like gold long term, which I do, I truly do, right? But I don't know about it near term. I need silver to confirm this shit. I need silver to pop off over the mid-29s. If it's not, we got issues. GDX, we talked about the miners playing catch up. Cool. Not there yet. Keep an eye on it. GDXJ, I mean, acting a little better, cool, but in the last couple days, chopping around, keep an eye on it. We talked about AEM being the boss of the sector. Okay, cool. Then you start looking at this little formation up here. I'm not a big fan of this at like an extreme. Okay, we'll keep an eye on it. AG has earnings tomorrow morning. I mean, this thing is just, man, this thing's been pounded into the sand. Personally, it's interesting because you can see the volume down here. Somebody's doing something. Somebody's doing something. Somebody's doing something. So keep an eye on this. Again, if you get one more puke, it might be the one, right? Like to watch the silver miners, right? Somebody's doing something. This thing has just been in a big, choppy mess zone for a while, but it seems to be getting stuck in the 12s. Keep an eye on it, okay? Newmont, this one's been the boss, right? Of the past. It's been a tremendous lagger if you zoom out, right? You're like, why isn't it in the 90s or 80s? You're like, yeah, I know, right? We said it probably is due to bounce after this 59 down to 37. You got the bounce. Now near term, see what happens when we back test the mid 40s. Pass, man, I mean, it's holding up pretty damn well. And then, man, there's clearly something going on here. And this is what I struggle with the miners. Because again, you can get really big volatility in miners before big fucking moves. Just keep an eye on it. Taiwan Semi, again, they've got deals going with endlessly. People making chips, I get that. It looks like OpenAI is going to start dumping NVIDIA chips. Imagine that. They don't want to pay for that. They're going to find replacements. They're going to build their own chips. That's the thing, right? Taiwan Semi, again, feels like a top. Keep an eye on it, right? Been on fire. Micron, we've talked about this one just being a bottom, chop bottom. Piece of junk. Okay? Keep an eye on it. AMD, chopping around. Look at this, right? You'd like to say it's due to bounce, but it's been an absolute turd. And what kind of bounce does it get? That's the question. NVIDIA, again, I don't trust this at all. We talked about the 50, 100-day cross. Man, if we fail here, it makes sense. If we gap up with FOMC stuff, or not FOMC, with inflation data, brah, I would say probably somewhere around, I don't know, in this blue zone. Keep an eye on it. Again, I'm layering into shorts here. Sorry, bulls. I mean, you get 7 green days up. We talked about holding the primary trend. You're welcome. Again, this is what the thing, you have to trade this. And when it does die, it's going to die. But it's not going to die an easy death, in my opinion. And if I'm wrong and it doesn't die an easy death, at least I'll have made money along the way and been able to leverage at least this chop. SMCI, right? We talked about this one being all over the place. I said this yesterday. I'm like, everyone's getting real excited. And again, watch the daily market reviews every day if you can. You'll build knowledge, understanding of what to expect. Hey, everyone's getting excited. Watch, it probably now pulls back. Wah, 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 wah. Yep. Now after hours is up at 41 and something. I don't know. Again, I'm not saying that it necessarily going back to like the 19 or something, but you get overbought, you pull back. We'll see here. Man, after did they? I guess they had their, was it their earnings? They had to have had some sort of earnings. I apologize. Give me 2 seconds. The curiosity is killing the cat. I usually don't do this in the middle of a video, but. All right, something was going on. Okay. Figured. Intellectual property. We talked about the 18-19 range if you really want to get spunky and buy it. Said there's not much upside if it does get bought out. It's a cherry buyout in the 20s, low 20s. Okay, cool. There it is. Keep an eye on it, right? 100-day. I don't know, man. Again, if it gets bought out, it's not going to be at a premium. They don't have anything, folks. It's more of just a fucking bailout. It's just a bailout. Again, we'll see. Keep an eye on it. AVGO, same kind of thing. Chopping, not same kind of thing, holding up pretty well. Hold on 1 second. Holding up pretty well. Holding up pretty well. Watching the 240 area. Again, in my opinion, I'm not. Yeah. This one's tough. Again, this is what's so hard. After you get these big moves, you got to expect consolidation. This is talk about the straight line move to get. Here you go. Here's another straight line that led to consolidation. Big straight line up. Time to consolidate, y'all. Again, I'm not trying to be a dick. You know, keep an eye on it. Again, I personally just would leave it the fuck alone. SMH. It's topped. Now it's chopping. I don't know what to tell you. Keep it simple, stupid. I think it gets bludgeoned later. Adobe, we talked about this one holding the 20-day. Nice. Up to the 50-day. So that was probably potentially coming. Now next would be the 480. Keep an eye on it. Good trade. Baba and Apple. It was very binary. It's like it's going to fail here or it's going to go higher. It's very simple. We talked about this 100-day blue zone chop. You're welcome. Again, keep it simple, stupid. Because again, in my opinion, I'm not trying to poop on Apple, but again, I think it's not cheap, y'all, based on their future earnings. They can throw AI all they want at this. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's already priced in. Amazon earnings popped, flopped, chopped. Watching 20-day Meta, right? We talked about this one chopping at the highs. I mean, it's pretty steep, man. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't feel like it should be. Like, it feels like it should be shorted. That's all I can say on that. CRM, double top. Keep an eye on it. Google dropped on earnings. Now it's support. Again, if you want to buy it here, it makes sense with a stop. And if it fails, you can short it with a stop. Pretty simple. Microsoft, I'm just rolling through these. Chopping around at the range lows. I mean, this one's a little sloppy, but again, if you break the 409, it looks like it could break. Nasdaq, NDAQ, we talked about double top. Congratulations. You break the 50-day, here comes the 100-day. Keep it simple, stupid. MicroStrategy on record saying that I don't really trust this name. However, if you got Bitcoin popping tomorrow with the But the CPI, maybe it holds like you got a multi-day range. You got the blue zone. If not, I don't know why we wouldn't come back into this level at some point and fill this gap. It's so close. That's what I'd be watching. Netflix and chill, Netflix and spill, Netflix and grill bears. Again, talked about like it. Man, it's holding up pretty well. I mean, give Jay Souls credit. He said 1030 was coming. You got that yesterday. Now it's a pivot point. Looks pretty solid. Again, I love all the fucking trades, man. Keep posting y'all's trades and ideas. Appreciate it. Roblox. Gap down on earnings. Chop chop. That's a tough one, right? The thing's been on a monster run. I wouldn't really mess with it too much. Pan W. That's where it gets, a little sneaky. Breaking out. Okay. 2-day range. Can you come back into the 190s? Maybe. Again, I like cybersecurity. Watching the 190s. Again, if it goes, it goes. This is what it is. Tesla, warn people endlessly, you got to be fucking careful after a big up move, because if it pulls back, it gets fugly. Well, it got fugly. Near term, feels pretty oversold. I'm not going to sit here and say that I think it has to bounce, because clearly more Elon gets involved with Doge. It's not going to be beneficial, maybe near term, to sales, because you're going to have all these people who are pissed off at him. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense to me. Again, he's just exposing government corruption. Whether you like him or not, I don't care. Again, it's about time someone audited the government and the feds and the IRS and all this bullshit. Again, our $36 trillion deficit. You don't think it's worth to audit it? Maybe at some point, find where we can cut the fat. I don't get why anyone would be arguing again against that. Oh, he's going to give away our data. Oh, God, Jesus. Okay. Yeah, fine. It's fine. Every reason not to do it. I'm sorry to get on the rant. I'm, again, not whether I like the guy. I appreciate that someone's actually doing this. I've been arguing this. I read End the Fed 20 years ago and been thinking that it needs to be ended at some point, and never been more excited that's possible, but probably not going to happen. Watch the 100-day. Keep it simple, stupid. Let's get into Insight. Again, I like this company. Said, do not chase this. Yes, I think they get bought out. Give me that pullback. Come to me mid-50s. Keep an eye on it. Hims said today makes sense, and you have a 2-day range short. And I don't know if you're getting to the 2 times range. That's probably where your stop is. But if you shorted the open at 45, you got a pretty good price. Again, I'm not saying Hims is going to zero. There's no motor out that protects this. This thing's been on a huge run. It ran up on a ad for the Super Bowl. Yeah, are their sales probably going to increase? They should. But the company doubled. You tell me if this is sustainable. Again, I'm not saying necessarily it's going to zero, but it makes sense to me. Pullback, City, Palantir. We talked about this one, right? It gets really interesting. Chopping up at the highs. Keep an eye on this, right? 2.5 times range. I don't know where the freaking high is on this, but thing has been, again, the Palantir crew. I mean, it's a $250 million company. I said this, I thought if it ever got to $1 trillion, it had a lot more upside. Near term, it probably needs to do that digestion thing. McDonald's, we talked about this one, right? Popped up on earnings. Watch what happens into this gap. DKNG, again, I like the short here, but man, it's just not working. It's just going to end up being a big damn chop range. Could be. Absolutely could be. Again, I don't see much upside breaking up over it, but again, if you trade the extremes, I guess you did all right. Again, sometimes you're going to be wrong. Airbnb, Bizzle, 200-day, watching. Costco, keep an eye on this one. Right? This thing has had a monster. We said this could be a head and shoulders top breakout. The breakout could be a top for the long term. And people are like, oh, what are you talking about? This is strong. I'm like, dude, look at this thing. It is due. It is due for a pullback. And I'm not saying it has to go to zero, but I'm saying like the upside is priced in. Could it get any better? It's a freaking retailer. It's Costco. Starbucks, we talked about. I like the short up here. Just didn't know where. Said yesterday, watch what happens when the 8 and 10 day. Watch 110. 110. FedEx, this one's been acting, I don't know, just sloppy, choppy. Looks like a downtrend. Short highs, buy dips, whatever you got to do. Deere, straddling the 200-day again. Again, another binary trade. Do you want to go long or go short here? Keep it simple, stupid. Watch the 200-day. Doesn't have to be that difficult. DE, Deere has earnings after the close on Thursday. Feels like it might try to make a retest of the highs. We'll see. Nucor had a nice pop. At least deal names, right? We like commodities a lot, right? Going on record, same thing. Like this stuff long term, but again, I don't want to chase it. I've seen what happens. They can beat the shit out of this stuff because there is a recession potentially. I mean, it's like we've been kicking the can out. I mean, I feel like we've been in a recession for 2 years, honestly. If you actually look at some of the data, and what's going on in housing, what's going on with the consumer, what's going on with commercial real estate, and you're going with what's going on overseas, and what's going on in China, what's going on in Europe. But they couldn't allow it on paper for an election, in my opinion. So watch X. Again, I think they get bought out. VALE, we talked about this one being a buy in the 8s. Watch getting a retest. It'd be great. Arrow, I know people are just trying to stab down here. Today could be your day. Keep an eye on it. Again, volume at the lows. Capitulation. I mean, I know that's only 1.5 million shares, that the volume is above average. It's worth an eye. CCJs, we talked about. You got to like uranium. Keep an eye on it. Chop, chop. CF, again, we like ag names. Chop, chop. Mosaic, chop, chop. Again, we like all these names. NTR, chop, chop. AA Aeron, chop, chop. AA aluminum. Again, I love aluminum long term. Like, I'm a big fan of it. Aluminum foil, tinfoil hats, all that stuff. I think it's going to be used everywhere, in my opinion. Keep an eye on it. Financials got the bounce back into the blue zone. Cool. I mean, again, it's like, all right. Yeah, I like shorting the financials long term. I think they hold all the bags and the issues. JP Morgan, 8 and held, end-day held. Morgan Stanley seems to be chopping around here. 20-day. Bank of America. This one has been not as strong, but holding 20-day. Goldman Sachs. This one's been on fire. Nice pop. Keep an eye on it. Carry. Talked about this one just playing games. Keep an eye on it. It's just a matter of when, not if. But again, if I'm wrong, this is why you have to, again, if you short at the high, you have tight stops, and you go, I can be wrong. Jets, we've talked about this one. Looks like it's going to break at some point, 50 days. Key, XBI, again, a risk-on junior bio name. Not acting so hot, chopping around. Keep an eye on it, right? And there's a lot of stuff that doesn't really look that hot. XHB, right? The housing index. Things are on fire. No, housing's a struggle, man. Builders are just throwing away properties. If you're looking to buy a new house, hit me up. I'm telling you, there's so many advantages going on out there. Solar, man, bounce chop. Again, I'm just going to, solar to me is dead until you get the commodity explosion, right? There's just no reason to own this stuff. HYG, nothing much other than, again, I think you got to be high to your mind to be buying corporate debt up here. Oil, USO, again, we're not surprised it bounced. It's a 200-day, 50-day. UNG, I'm not a big fan of this product, but you know what? Hey, it's bouncing. Cool. KLD. Again, I like the short on this. We talked about this on bounces when you shorted up here. You covered, short. Now you probably got to take off some property. There's some profits. XOP. We talked about this. It's an interesting little fucker. Like, it felt like it was going to trade. The range is, then look, it's 200-day. 200-day has mattered in the past. I'm just telling you, watch the 200-day, because if we could consolidate here and then go higher, great. If it doesn't, it could fail. CVE. Again, we like the junior names. They should be bouncing like XOP, right? Cool. There's one that we talked about. You could snag the bottom. Valero. This is where I'm starting to like, man, these gasoline and NPC, they all bounce, but now they're not following through, right? Keep an eye on it, right? BP. We talked about this one. Had call options. Somebody, nice. Near term, might need a little space and breathing. ExxonMobil, again, we like these names long term. They just what price do you want? You probably need to trade them, or you need to disappear. Keep an eye on this, right? Occidental, again, I don't think Buffett's going to lose long term at all. He never does when it comes to these big trades. It's he's like just getting a position, building a position. EQT, again, holding up pretty well. Last but not least, Flex LNG. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Always here to help. Again, I think we'll be a natural gas exporter with 11% dividend. It seems like a chrome play. However, long term, again, you don't know anything for certain, so that's why you define your risk. Let me know I can help. Always here. Talk to you later. Be safe tomorrow. Please beware of traps.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.